Hello and welcome to our Spotlight video series where we discuss cutting-edge employment law issues in the news. I'm Tom Spiggle, founder of the Spiggle Law Firm, where we help people who've been fired or afraid that they might be. I'm thrilled today to be joined by Theresa Jacobson, who is a fantastic paralegal in our office. And today we are going to be talking about, I believe, vaccines. Is that right, Theresa?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and just real quickly, because lawyers got to say that this is not intended to be legal advice for your specific case. If you're watching this, it's for educational purposes. If you need specific legal advice, you got it. You need to go hire a lawyer. So with that out of the way, go ahead, Theresa, what we got?
I'm just noticing that there is a lot more cases coming up where employees who had accommodations from their employer of remote work or not interacting with the office, having to participate in the vaccine policies that the companies are taking in. A lot of people who have their religious beliefs or medical issues, who their own doctors may, advise them not to get the vaccine, and talking about the COVID vaccine, they're advised not to do so. And so going forward, the employer ends up letting them go, essentially, even though there is no basis to them needing to get it except for the company policy.
Yeah, and so we saw this a lot during COVID, with people who, for any variety of reasons, didn't want to take the vaccine, and employers, who were understandably concerned about the spread of COVID and coming out with these vaccine mandates. Certainly, the federal government did, and so we saw this a lot. And I think probably not as much as we did during COVID, but now with the new vaccine coming out and with COVID still out there, and I think it will be out there for the foreseeable future, we'll probably see more of this. And you're talking about accommodations, and what you mean is you can request, accommodations under the Americans with Disabilities Act. You can also, under Title VII, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the big federal anti-discrimination law, in some circumstances get an accommodation for religious, so in this instance, some people saying, my religion, dictates that I can't take this vaccine. And we've had, regardless of what your personal views about the vaccine are, we had these clients that had these issues, and we've seen them come down on both sides of this, your courts, whether it's win or it's losing. So I know we've had a couple of them. Why don't you tell the folks who are listening a little bit about what, if you're gonna make that kind of claim, how you can do so successfully?
So in order to do it successfully, you really got to have the background with your company about how your setup is. Like, for instance, I recently read an article where an employee who became a teleworker in 2018, pre-pandemic, completely worked remotely, never was an interactive going into the office. It just happened that her religious beliefs did also intertwine with not participating in the vaccine. However, the employer did make it mandatory for all employees, regardless of their status, in-house or out, to have this vaccine. So they're getting terminated because of that. I don't think that you can just call religious for just wave that flag, of course.
Yeah.
There are specific requirements that you have to hit. Not everybody is eligible to claim that kind of discrimination. So it's very important to have that backstory and what your accommodations are pre-requirement of the vaccine.
So ideally, if somebody's bringing this, let's say they come to our office, what do you like to see that they would have done? I don't know, like medical records or doctor's notes. Like, what makes for a really strong case if somebody's going to make those kinds of arguments?
Oh, well, definitely. If you've got your letter of your welcome letter, like engagement letter with the company, what are your accommodations? Are you a telecommuter or are you not? That type of thing. Also, have your medical records. Very important to have that to show that you do not participate in the vaccinations with your medical provider. So you've just really got to have that history, a solid foundation of why you don't do your vaccine. You just can't, of course, one day just say I don't. So having that solid background, foundation, and what it is you have set up with your employer at the beginning of your employment with them.
Yeah. And I suppose for religious accommodation cases, it would probably help if you have something from, a preacher, a clergy, a cleric, somebody within the religion that's, can verify, like, yes, this is one of our tenants.
Yes, your membership. You're definitely
Yeah.
providing your
Right.
membership. And that's very important to have your roster and who you can contact to verify that.
Yeah, yeah. No, fascinating. I appreciate you bringing this up. I mean, it's going to, I think, continue to be an issue. I think for folks who are struggling with this, it's very complicated. And we do see employers who are terminating because people, refuse to get the vaccine for whatever reason. So if you think that you have a valid reason, it is worth talking to an attorney to get a sense of whether or not you have some legal claim to be exempted from the vaccine, because there can be some remedies in certain circumstances. So worth talking to us or somebody like us who can kind of tell you where you stand and how strong your case might be if you want to object.
Absolutely.
All right, Theresa, thanks so much. This has been great. I think it's an important topic, and I will let you get to the next thing on your desk.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
All right.